FSB Racing. Here we are again, Wednesday nights. Welcome one and all. FSBRacing.com. Pro Cup, Wednesday nights. Chicagoland. Gangstaland. This track, mile and a half. Some would say cookie cutter. We're watching Boss Man Jim Ray finishing up happy hour here. See, it is a kind of a traditional backstretch, and of course the cookie cutter tradition of a kind of a D-shape front part to the track, front straight. As we take a look at the qualifying times, we see Nicole Johnson will be on the pole. Jeff Hale right beside her. Good lap times there. Just what 1/100th of a second separating our top two, Robert Bokum, Bill Yarbrough, Mark DeSenza. The Troys are starting 6th and 7th. T. Roy over Troy Higgins. Sammy in 8th, and then Matty Watkins, Guy Peter, and the Boss Man will ride shotgun on the field here as
we got a good race car, we got a good driver, we got a good pit crew.
We hear the national anthem winding down, and cars are getting out onto the grid. There we see Chicagoland. There you can see the track, and as I said, that's that D-shaped front oval, more traditional back straight. Good speeds here, 190 plus miles an hour. So expect to see some high speeds, some drafting, small field. So that tells me we'll see some green flag racing. I believe somewhere in the low 30s for fuel window. You see 107 laps. So if I could be certain, which I can't be, I'd like to say 31, 32 laps, and if that's true, if you do 31, 31, 31, that's only 103, so we'll see how that plays out. Will it be a two-stop race, or will that extra stop be needed is the question. We'll see how that goes, but there we see pole, Nicole Johnson in the 5 car. She'll be leading the field down. 29 of Jeff Hale. There we see the 54 Bill Yarbrough, 17 of T. Roy, Grey Goose. There's Robert Bokum getting in line, assuming the position. There we see bad boy Mark DeSenza. Sammy in the 98 Predator. There we see points leader, Pro Cup points leader, Troy Higgins. Twitter ride. 151 Guy Petra. Boss Man Jim Ray in the 96. And of course the great Matt Watkins in the 15 Mario Kart number 8. Yeah, there's been 8 Mario Karts. I know that's riveting for the viewers out there. We see the pace car is in, and we're about to go green flag racing here at Chicagoland. Green flag is out. You see it waving in the flag stand, and away we go. Nicole Johnson going to be leading our first lap here. Jeff Hale starting second, staying second. Bill Yarbrough. Of course, we know how Bill likes to start races. He likes to go right to the front. But so does the 29, but so does the 5. So we have 3 front runners here that like to be the car leading laps. So that'll be an interesting dynamic here at the front as we see the 5 and the 29 and the 54 really driving, wouldn't say the wheels off their cars yet, but again, I think Jeff would like to get around the 5 and lead a lap and lead a lot of laps, and I think 54 Bill Yarbrough would concur with that assessment and would like to lead multiple laps as well. So there's our top three. Fourth place, Robert Bokum. Of course, Robert is the exact opposite. He likes leading the laps that matter most, which is the last lap, which he's done many times. So Robert's going to run his own race. He's gonna manage his tires for the full run here. He knows there's a small field, so I think he feels confident that it's going to stay green. And when it stays green, I think he feels good that his tire management will be the best, and that he'll be leading laps when it matters most. And there we see our top three at the bottom of our screen, staying the same. Mark DeSenza now getting around teammate Robert Bokum. So Mark DeSenza moving his way to the front. Of course, Mark hungry. I know he's hungry. But there we see the 15 of Matt Watkins as well, taking a move to the inside of the 18 car. And Matt Watkins takes the position as well. And little hairy right behind Robert there between the 151 and the 98. Sammy hanging out that back end like he likes to do. Yes, you can run down on inside there. That is legal. And as long as it's done appropriately and everyone is aware, it shouldn't be an issue. So everyone sorts themselves out. Sam and 19 of Troy Higgins, and Guy Petra falling back a little there after that brush there. Maybe a little out of sorts. It looks like he's gathered it back in. There we see the 96 of Jim Ray. And pulling shotgun on the field right now, the 17 of T-Roy. Needs to get a little giddy up in his game here. So does the boss man. I think Jim playing it safe. Content to ride around right now early on in the race. See, we're only 7 laps in. And as we go back to the front, we just passed Matt Watkins there. There's Mark DeSenza, who's trying to join this top three, and he's very close to doing that. And the top three have stayed the top three. That would be Nicole in first, Jeff in second, and Bill in third. But now Mark also wants to join the mix. And he's looking good. He's run them down. And these front runners here aren't, running conservatively by any means. But right now, we looked like maybe a little bobble there by the 5 car. And Jeff really pulled up quickly. Everything seems to have again maybe settled down for the moment. See Jeff taking a little higher angle there into the turn, but he's able to really turn the car down and get a great run, and there you see it. As a result of that, and there's contact between the 54 and the 6, and 6 is in the wall as well. Yarbrough is into the wall now. Looked like he was going to save it, and then a little more contact to boot with the 19 car. Everyone else, and that's it for the 54. He's out of the race, unfortunately. Some contact, it looked like, between the 6 and the 54. And caution is out, of course. Let's take another look at that here. Maybe we can look at it from a different angle that may help us here. We see that the 6 went inside of the 54 car there. And there we see the contact. Just a little touch, man. It just goes to show you how little it takes at these speeds. And here we see Mark goes inside, and there's just a slight contact there with Bill, and then a little more contact, but Mark was able to keep it going. And now we're live. We see in the pits, we see our leaders right ahead of Mark DeSenza there. The 5 and the 29 as well are pitting. or excuse me, the 5 and the 29. And now Mark DeCenza, of course, might have some damage here he has to address, and we see Sam and Troy Higgins get out ahead of him. And now the 6 comes out, and we'll gather it all back in here. So unfortunate contact there. Mark made a move to the inside. It looked like Bill either thought he had more room or not, but it was kind of a combination of Mark making a move at the same time Bill was moving down, and there was just a slight tap just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and Bill spun, hit the wall, and then the 19 of Troy Higgins in wowing it down had slight contact with him, and I think we'll check on Troy there. We see the 18, the 96, the 17 coming in, and there we see the 19 of Troy Higgins as he makes his way to his pit stall, and I'm wondering how he's doing. We'll see if he stays in the pits after the tires are fully. No, well, let's take a look. Just a splash and go there, it looks like. So 13 laps complete of 107. Here we see our leader currently under the caution, the 151 of Guy Petra. The rest of the running order is, as Guy does, elect to peel off. We will see that our leader now will be, as was when the yellow came out, the 5 of Nicole Johnson. 29 Jeff Hale is second. 98 Sam Young third. Maddie Watkins fourth. 6 of Mark DeCenza fifth. Of course, Guy Petra will assume shotgun on the field now. So Robert Bokum, Troy Higgins will assume the 7th position. Bossman Jim Ray will be 8th. T-Roy 9th. And just checking here, we see that the 54 car has retired. So lap 14. And you see the lights are out on the pace car, so we will be restarting here momentarily. Nicole Johnson, our leader. 29 of Jeff Hale second. And let's see if Jeff shows a little more aggressiveness. I don't want to egg him on or anything, but I know Jeff wants to lead laps, and I know he likes driving his car out front. He feels, the car handles better, and etc. etc. And then, hey, who's to blame him? But the 98 likes to do that too, and there's someone behind him too that's pretty good as the green flag comes out, and away we go. The 5 of Nicole Johnson leads the way. 29 Jeff Hale. Sammy looks like got a little high up there, maybe a little kiss of the outside wall there, but look at Matt Watkins with a great run on Jeff Hale as Jeff gets a little high, maybe just brushed where you see the safer barrier, and a caution is out as the boss man is spinning along with the 151. Let's see if boss man can get the car fired and going. He does. Question is, did he take the caution? He's slow. He's still slow. Let's see if he can get the car rolling again. a rare. That's something you don't see very often, folks. Let's see. As it looks like he will be able to get going and. We'll look back a little here and see. Here's the restart. And Jim did. Ah. Yeah, Let's take another look at that. We saw Jim get onto the apron right there, and then as he came up, he looks like he was out of the groove there, loose. Did not hit the wall, but was very much out of shape there, and you can see the 151 just got a heck of a run. And unfortunately, as Jim, it looked like got on the brakes just a bit to save the car. The 151 was right there, and there was contact from behind, and both went spinning. No wall contact, so we'll see how much damage each has suffered. But we'll go back live here, and that doesn't look good. And we see that the 19 of Jim Murray has retired, as well as the 17 has, with a damaged engine. So attrition here striking the field. As we see now 3 retirees. 54 Billy Arbrough had the contact with Mark DeSenza and went into the wall and had to retire. 17 of T-Roy had an engine just let go on him. And now the boss man, Jim Murray, got loose. Guy Petra had contact from behind as Jim tried to slow, and Guy kind of had a great run at the same time and had kind of nowhere to go there. And we'll see how Guy's car handles as the leader suddenly dives in to pit lane. So surprise move by Nicole. And we also see the 18 of Robert Bokum splash and go, topping up that tank. There we see the 151 also in the pits. Guy Petra didn't look like any damage extra from the amount of time it took for tires. So, and now the 5 of Nicole Johnson also out in a way. Of course, just 8 cars now remaining in the field. So, you know, at worst you're only going to be 8th. And yeah, we're only on lap 19 of 107, so still 88 laps remaining here. Pace car's off. Matt Watkins is our new leader. And he'll lead the field down. And it's 15 of Matt Watkins and 98 of Sam Young, 1-2. Third place there is the 29 of Jeff Hale. And looks like 29 there, making a move on the inside. Sam not fighting it. And Jeff will take over the second position as Matt tries to stretch his lead very quickly. Sam using that outside line. He's getting a good run, but he just clipped the wall there. Ran out of racetrack. And Mark takes an inside line and Sam again off the wall, and that was a pretty hard hit there. Yeah, you can't keep doing that, Sammy. See the 19 of Troy Higgins there. Looks like he's gone a lap down. Let me take a look here. And as they come back around here, let's check these times. Okay, so the 19 is in 5th place. There's our top 4. And Sam managing to stay on, still working that high line. But man, he took a couple of hits against the wall there. So see that Mark DeSenza now has slowly tracked Matt down, and if you ask me, Mark has designs on leading this race very soon. He's really caught up to him. Let's see if he can get around him. Like Mark makes a move to the inside. It's hard to hold that line here sometimes. They go side by side. And Mark will lead that lap. Let's see if he can hold it down, and he does, coming out of 2 there and down the backstretch. So Mark DeSenza, our new leader, going right, getting around Matty Watkins. It looked like Mark, when he got into the turn, looked like Matt might have sensed a little drifting up and gave a little more room than maybe he would have liked to have done, and that allowed Mark to take that inside line and complete the pass. So Mark's our new leader. Matt Watkins back to 2nd. Jeff Hale's 3rd. Sam hanging on there in 4th. Battle for the lead certainly kept this group tightly bunched. And Jeff Hale had a look there. Thought better of it. Backed in line. Sam's still working that high line. We go back to our second group here. See, it's led still by the 19 of Troy Higgins. There's the 5 of Nicole Johnson, who came down pit lane right before this green came out. So we'll see how that strategy works out. Now Nicole taking a look on the high side of the 19 car. Not a lot of passing done on the high side, so we'll see as now the 151 takes advantage of that with a nice move to the inside. Guy Petra trying to do a 2-for-1. Can he complete the pass? Robert Bokum right there as well. So we have a leading group of 4, and then this is the second group of 4s, and that's our race, folks, right there. So quality in both packs. Let's see if the packs will blend back together before this run is over. Right now, Guy Petra with a very nice move and just powered away from this group now. So the 151 leading this pack of 4 now. Nicole second in the group. Now 19 was the leader. Now back in third in this group. And Robert Bokum just riding along here and making sure everyone keeps a minimum pace. And they seem to be doing that. As we go back to the lead group of 4, we see Sam there still anchoring the group. There's Jeff Hale, Matt Watkins, and slightly out in front of the 3 is the 6 car of Mark DeSenza. We're at lap 33. And let's take a look at the gap as they cross the line. So 1 second back to Sam, and then now the pack is being led by Nicole. Now has assumed the lead of the second pack, 4.99 seconds behind the leader, so 3.9 seconds behind Sammy, who's on the tail end of this group. And it's possible as the tires wear down now, the damage that Sam and Matt Watkins now takes a bid for the lead, takes it back. Mark DeSenza now on the outside here. Got to be careful of that wall. It can't come up and grab you. The 29 trying to take advantage as well, and he goes by. So a change of leadership at the front. Matt Watkins reassumes the lead for now his second stint leading. Jeff Hale now up to second. Jeff would I'm sure would like to lead a lap at least. So he's right in the mix here. Mark back to third. He got his laps led. And Sam trying to cling to the draft here of the 6 car. And as we look at the times, we see, let's see where the 98 and the 5 are separated by now, as Sam goes by at 1.44, and Nicole goes by there. So so inside of 4 seconds, we'll say, what's that, 3.8 seconds back the second pack is from Sam. So with Matt Watkins reassuming the lead, now we see Sammy falling back a couple of tenths more. So it looks like the second pack is slowly gaining on Sam. Not a lot of time though, and Sam is slowly losing touch with these top 3 now, we're going to call it. So Matt Watkins is our leader. Jeff Hale second. Mark DeSenza third. And then in our first between packs driver is the 98 of Sam Young. And then there's our next now Nicole trying to pull away here, it looks like, from this other group, and she has separated herself a little, but teammate Robert Bokum here is saying, I'll hang with you now. We've run enough green flag that it's go time in this run. We're on lap 41 now. So this group of four, Nicole in front, Robert Bokum second in the group, and the 19 and 151 have now swapped positions. The 19 of Troy Higgins now momentarily as they still battle for that position. Come on, boys, you stay in line, catch the leaders as they fight it out here for the 7th and 8th positions. Looks like Troy Higgins has won that battle for now. Robert has stayed with Nicole, so that will help their efforts to catch Sam now. As we look at the time again, we see it's very much been reduced. Only, what we say, 2.6 seconds now from Nicole to Sam. Top three, as you can see, right there with each other. And Nicole gets out of shape and collects Robert, it looks like. Wow. What a surprise that was. Caution, I'm sure, is out. Caution is out. Let's take another look at that. There we see the 5 car. Everything was looking good. I really didn't catch the initial of it. I caught the halfway through it part of it. She looking okay here. Slowly gaining ground on Sam for that top 4 position. Everything looking good. And it looks like it just turned in a little too much. And you can see right there in that shot, she's already got the car out of shape a little, right there. And then the braking, Robert getting into the back of the car and into the wall as well. Then the 19 just getting by on the outside there with Nicole spinning. In the pits. Back live here. Lap 44 of 107, so not quite to the halfway point here with this caution, but a welcome time for 4 tires and fuel for the guys. Still have to make one more stop, so fuel, there's no real fuel strategy to be played out anymore now. We'll see as we gather back up the field. There we do see the 18 of Robert Bokum. He has managed to stay on the lead lap. The 151 has gone a lap down. And Nicole now has gone 2 laps down. She tends to the car still. So just a very rare, very, very rare mistake there by Nicole. I mean, she's does that maybe once every 100 races, so maybe that was his 100th race. As we scroll back to the top, finally Jeff Hale has grabbed the lead. The lights are still on the pace car. As we're riding with our leader here, Jeff Hale. See, he's saving fuel. No real need to save fuel, if you ask me, but let's do some math. 60 laps remaining. Yeah, 30 lap run here. You need to get to lap 77. Let's say 78. So let's see if it stays green. Let's look for that number, 78, 79, from these guys. We see the 151 guy Petra is on the inside of Jeff Hale. The guy is one lap down, so he will line up on the inside line. Lead lap cars line up on the outside line, as per old NASCAR Winston Cup rules. Of course, now there's what they call the lucky dog and wave arounds that don't end up this way, because all NASCAR restarts are double file with the leaders. So the lap down cars have to start at the end of that. As we're riding with Jeff Hale here, we see the flag. It's yellow still. Turns green, and green, and he's going, and he gets a good jump on his competition there. See the 151 fading in the inside there, getting a little smaller in that rear view mirror. Now, unfortunately, as we follow Jeff, yes, he's moving the wheel. The game, unfortunately, has some limitations. It only shows the wheel moving in the actual person's replay, not the broadcast, unfortunately, as we're just riding with him right now. But Matt Watkins is not riding with us. He has his own agenda, and he quickly goes underneath the 29 car and reassumes the lead now for the third time. So Matt Watkins leading in his third stint. That was Jeff's first lap sled of the race. I'm sure he's happy to lead him finally. He was second for a good portion of this early run. So we'll do a lap around Chicago. We just passed the start-finish line. Sweeping turn one, kind of high to low. See Jeff coming in high. He'd like to get down by that apron. Back on the gas. Speeds, as you can see, 192 miles an hour into the turn 3 and 4. A little more generous. You can be a little more aggressive coming up. You got to watch out for that wall there. Car likes to jump up off the banking there, and sometimes if you're not careful there, the car can jump out from under you and smack the wall. And as we saw with a couple of guys, including Sam there, that wall can be sneaky hard too. But right now, Matt Watkins is our leader, and we're riding with our second place driver, Jeff Hale. As we look through the field, third place car is the 6 of Mark DeSenza. Sam is now in fourth. The 151 of Guy Petra is a lap down. He's keeping pace though with the group. Doesn't appear to have any issues right now with the 6 and the 98. Right behind that is 19 of Troy Higgins. And there's Robert Bokum in the I'm sure the injured car of Nicole Johnson. teammate Robert Bokum trying to give a little tow here for, but the car could just be hurt just enough. We'll have to see how that plays out. But we see the 98 of Sam Young is drifted back and continues to lose spots. And now Robert Bokum goes around Sammy. So Sam going to the back here. He was just up there in fourth and third, maybe third or fourth. And now he's has fallen back behind Robert Bokum. The leader, Matt Watkins, is getting some pressure still from the 29 of Jeff Hale, 6 of Mark DeCenza right there. As I said, unfortunately for the 151, he's looks like he has a very fast car, but he's still one lap down and just a little too far from the leaders right now to get that lap back if a yellow were to come out. But the cars here at the front really giving it a good battle here, so anything can be in play. 15 of Matt Watkins is continuing to lead here. 29 Jeff Hale and 6 of Mark DeCenza. 1, 2, 3 here at Chicagoland, FSB Racing. Johnson Truck Line, sponsorships of the series. We want to get them in and thank them for their sponsorship of the Pro Cup Series. And the jewel of FSB Racing is a Pro Cup title, and everyone on the track here wants it. Some have had it, including that 15 car. He's had a shelf full of them. But right now he's in a battle with the 29 of Jeff Hale, who would love to have a Pro Cup title, as would the 6 car of Mark DeCenza. Of course, Matt Watkins running a part-time schedule this season, so most likely with the few amount of races left, Matt will not be in the chase, believe it or not. But he could be a spoiler when he shows up and take some wins away from the chasers. If I don't know if Matt were to complete all the races leading up to the chase and even win every single one of them, if he would still be able to catch any of the guys in points. So, but Matt Watkins doesn't need to add another title to his resume to prove anything to anyone. Everyone knows he's one of the best, and he loves driving, he loves racing, he loves these kind of tracks too. And right now he's leading the way, but the 29 and the 6 are not letting him run away and hide by any means. Let's keep going back here. The 19 of Troy Higgins now, he's fell back there for a bit. Now he's looks like he might even be catching that top 3. Robert Bokum and Sam Young. And like we said, the most likely hurt car of Nicole Johnson. And then we see the 151 who's really falling off the pace now. Not sure what happened to cause a guy to go a lap down in the first place, to tell you the truth. So that was my bad, not picking that up and knowing why. But right now what I do know is Matt Watkins is your leader. Yeah, and it definitely looks like the 19 of Troy Higgins is catching this group. So it looks like Troy has worked on their car as the laps have progressed tonight. And you might have hit on something here as we hit lap 64. So let's do some math. 44 laps remaining. As I said, let's call a magic number of 78. We're at 65 now. So in about 13 laps, let's see if we see any takers on pit lane. first available window, I would think you'd want to get in. Takes the least amount of fuel than people who run it all the way dry. That can take an extra second or two on pit lane to fill the car, and that could be a big difference. So let's see if there's a window hit by to finish the race, if anyone is a taker immediately, and see if it's a follow the leader situation after that. But Matt Watkins right now is pulling away from the field. 29.6 and now the 19 have now become a group of three chasing Matt Watkins down. You see the 19 going down on that apron, which is allowed here at Chicagoland, with it being a white line, not a yellow line. Yellow line is always out of bounds in FSB generally, no matter what kind of track it is, not just super speedway. But when there's a white line and it's not a super speedway, FS admin Jim Ray calling out to the drivers that it's okay to go down there at your own risk. Sometimes the spotter will stop spotting for you when you're down there, so you won't hear your own spotter when you're down there. But the other part of that is that other drivers on the track may not get their spotter. Oh, and we have a big hit there between the 6 and the, man, that was a big hit between the 6 and the 19. Wow. And let's take another look at that. We see the 6, the 19, and the 29 all wadded up together there. 19 did get a run on the inside of Jeff Hale and completed the pass. And it looked to me, let's take another look at that. Looked to me that the 6 car, Mark DeSenza, got a little out of shape there. Let's see if we can get a different angle. I think right there you can kind of see that he's out of shape. Let's see, as Mark came in, you could see him just get out of shape there, and it looks like he may have just slightly overcorrected and came up the track and into the 19 car. Hard into the wall was the 19 car, and Jeff Hale as well had nowhere to go. Hard into the wall. 18 of Robert Bokum locks it up and able to turn the car down enough. Jeff Hale did continue. 19 sliding down the hill, coming to a stop and then getting going, as Sammy also woed it down enough to avoid any carnage. But the 6 and the 19, hard contact there. And we see that it has claimed the 6 car. So this Chicagoland is proven to be a mean track. Just a mean old track. And let's see, we follow the pace car here. We see the 5 of Nicole Johnson now is showing 1 lap down. 151 also 1 lap down. So they're both in the pits. There we see the 29 of Jeff Hale. Now he definitely was involved in that, and not sure how badly damaged he is. Trying to take a look at the ride there. Doesn't look too bad. So we are looking as, let's see, the lights are still on the pace car. There we see the 19 as well. He's still going on, and boy, that was some extremely hard contact there between the 6, the 19, and the wall. So actually quite surprised to see Troy Higgins even running. The car wasn't destroyed. Now the lights are out on the pace car, so we'll see the 151 and most likely the 5 come down low. See the stragglers trying to rejoin the small field here. Getting smaller as the bodies pile up on the side of the road here. You can see a lot of retirements now reaching into the top 10. In fact, every car running now will have a top 7 just by running. Doesn't even matter how many laps down now you are. And green flag is back out. Matt Watkins is our leader. The 151 though making a move to the inside, got a good restart, and he's out ahead of everyone. So currently that would put Guy Petra, the last car, on the lead lap, but we'll see how long that he can hold out there. 98 of Sam Young is second. Jeff Hale third, Robert Bokum fourth. Troy Higgins and the 5 of Nicole Johnson. Like I said, I have to think Troy has some damage, so does the 5, so maybe they're on equal footing here. The 5 takes a look to the inside. Let's see. And the car real loose as they got side by side there. And that's what the damage could most likely do to the car, because the downforce just isn't there from the damage. And then with the car right next to you, taking the air off you and stuff, weird things could happen. But Robert Bokum, I believe, locked up the tires in that one wreck there, but I don't think he damaged the car at all. Just as we just talked about damage, we just saw the 29 there brush that piece of wall. Like I said, it's safer barrier. Kind of juts out a little there to catch those cars when if they slide up and hit the wall, that they don't hit just the concrete wall like very few places have now. But when we come around here, you'll see that little piece sticking out right there, and to the right there, and it's where Jeff Hale clipped it a little, and you can see the result of that is he's lost a ton of ground from the 18 car. Our top 2 here, the 151 is a lap down again to the leader. Our leader is now the 98 of Sam Young. Guy is 1 lap down. If he can stay right there, and there is a caution, it's possible he could gather that lap back, but he can't fall back any further, and it's going to be tough with Matt Watkins behind him. But Sam Young now stretching the lead out from the 15 car and the 18. Checking number of laps led. Okay, as you saw, we went back green. What about lap 75? Just don't think that you can go. What would that be? 32? Well, that is possible to do. You'd have to do what, 25 and 7, so yeah, 32 laps. I think we saw Robert Bokum topping up. I think he was employing that mindset. But Sam here doesn't appear to be in the fuel-saving mode right now, as he is our leader. A new leader, actually. So the 98 has led laps. The 151 actually has led laps as well. The 15 has led, I think, at least 3, now maybe 4 times. And you can see Matt Watkins letting off the gas. And as we heard that, let's take a ride with Matt Watkins on board in the cockpit with Matt Watkins. And we'll hear him as he does his fuel-saving strategy here. And what you saw there is Matt Watkins putting the clutch in, coasting the car in the turn, and then popping the clutch back out, getting back on the gas, and going down these straightaways. And you can see he's actually not losing much ground to the leaders there, and he is able to save a little fuel each time he does that. Looking from behind, we see that's Robert Bokum. I think he's in the same fuel conservation mode, so we'll see if he presses Matt Watkins here and takes that position away from him. He has gained some ground on him, as you can see, him getting a little larger in that rearview mirror. But right now we have 24 laps remaining. Continues on his strategy. You see the leaders have now been able to pull away just slightly. And you can hear as he presses that clutch in, the engine going to sleep on us. 15 and 18 right there, both in, I think, conservation mode. And there's the 5 of Nicole Johnson. Again, I'm sure there's some damage there. She's hanging on to that lead group of cars here, probably 8 or so seconds, but of course she is 2 laps down from most likely from repairing the damage from the earlier incident. Yeah, we see Nicole now getting around Matt Watkins and Robert Bokum on their fuel saving mission. Looks like now the 19 of Troy Higgins has gone a lap down to Sam. Sam got a little out of shape there. A little brush with the wall again too. Sam, we gotta be careful, man. Got a nice, healthy 6-second lead over Matt Watkins and Robert Bokum. And then over 16-second lead for Sam over 4th place Jeff Hale. So Sam really just needs to. I have to think Sam has to pit, but might just be a fuel only stop too, and just a splash. We'll see if he can keep this pace and finish the race. Not saying that's impossible either. And letting the 151 go by, and then maybe trying to catch a little draft down the straightaways wouldn't be such a bad idea. Lift off the gas just a bit here and there, save a little fuel. We have 16 and across the line this time. We'll have 16 laps to go. Sam is our leader. There we see our leader, Sam Young. 19 of Troy Higgins is a lap down. 5 of Cole Johnson, 2 laps down. So second place is now, or has been, the 15 of Matt Watkins. Robert Bokum separated a little from these guys. Matt's still clutching around the turns. So is Robert Bokum. So both those guys are determined to go to the end without stopping. Question is now, will Sam save enough fuel now to make it to the end, as we're hitting, 15 laps to go? And it looks like Sam is doing a little clutching of his own now. See, the lead was over 6 seconds. Now it's down to, drum roll please, 3.6 seconds. So more than 2 seconds has been erased from Sam's lead, as he now goes into conservation mode with just 14 laps remaining. 98 of Sam Young is our leader. He drove out hard and broke up lead, and then is now letting that lead get pared down by Matt Watkins. But at the same time, Sam is saving a lot of fuel here to make it to the end, just like Matt Watkins had to as well. Maybe Matt has saved enough fuel now that he feels comfortable in driving. Let's see if Matt is clutching here in the turn. It still looks like he is, so I would have to think that he feels that's still necessary, or he wouldn't be doing it. But right now it's 2.48 seconds now. Our leader, Sam Young, to the 15 of Matt Watkins. Robert Bokum now over 6 seconds off the pace. So Robert either needs to save a lot more stuff, or he thinks that these guys have gone out too fast and there's no way they're going to make it. But Robert now 6.7 seconds off the lead. Matt Watkins now 2.4, so that space is stabilized now over the last 2 laps. But Robert 7.6 back, and then Jeff Hale and Guy Petra, who we just saw get around the 98 of Sam Young. Who Sam wasn't obviously challenging Guy at all there. But Guy is on the lead lap. But we see, the 98 Sam Young definitely clutching around the corners. The lead back to Matt Watkins now is inside of 2 seconds as we get 10 laps to go. So the question is, can Sam save enough fuel for 10 more laps and keep a 2-second lead. It's down to 1.7 now. Sam's still clutching. Sure, he's looking at that fuel gauge and it's telling him exactly what he needs. And if it says projected laps 6 right now or something, he might be in trouble. Hopefully it says 9 or something like that for Sammy's sake. But right now we're hitting lap 100. Lap 100 of 107. So 8 laps remaining. A 2.2 second lead for Sam Young. Robert Bokum now over 9 seconds back. So unless Robert turns up the wick real fast, I don't see how he can make up that much time unless he just expects these two to go by the wayside, which may be the strategy too. I can't dispute that either. So but right now we're with our leader Sam Young as we are on lap 101 of 107, so 7 laps to go. Let's ride in the cockpit and we'll see. As long as he has fire in the belly, we'll know. As we hear the car revving now, we'll watch the lead in the top right hand corner as well. You see it's at 2.6 seconds, 102 of 107. Just 6 laps remaining. Looking in the mirror, you see that little black dot back there. That's Matt Watkins. But that is 2.57 seconds back. So Matt just gaining just a few tenths there. Not even a full tenth. A few hundredths of a second. So Sam really looks like he's keeping that cushion, which is important. Just in case he does run out and needs to coast for a little bit, a 2-second lead can be all but used up as long as he crosses the line ahead of you. Right now, as the laps are winding down, 104 now. Just 4 laps remaining. 98 of Sam Young, 15 of Matt Watkins is second. Looks like a 1-2 show here. Robert Bokum now all the way back to 11 seconds back. So he really had to go hard conservation. I'm really impressed with Sam being able to get this much squeeze out of the car, as he's opened up a 2.8 second lead. We see Guy Petra there on the apron getting past as we're riding along with Sam Young. We have 2 laps to go. Next time around we'll see a white flag from the flag stand. But Matt Watkins has erased that lead to just 0.86. And there he goes by. So Matt Watkins saving fuel and has decided that he doesn't need to save anymore. And it looks like Sam might be out of fuel too. And Sammy's out of fuel. And spins the car. And he's out of gas. Unbelievable. Unbelievable finish. And that will leave the win to Matt Watkins as you see the white flag waving. Matt Watkins will come around. And as he loses it coming around 4, Matt Watkins will cross the line as your winner. And spins it into the wall to celebrate. Unbelievable finish by Matt Watkins. Sam Young, unfortunately, just Oh man, Sammy, you had it, baby. Matt Watkins, your winner. Robert Bokum second. Jeff Hale is third. And then Sam Young led all that way and ran out with one lap to go. Just one stinking lap to go. So just a bad break for Sammy. 19 of Troy Higgins 5th. By Petra 6th. Last cars running. Nicole had to retire from the damage. 6 of Mark DeSenza also retired from damage. 96 of Jim Ray also retired from damage. 17 of T-Roy. Troy Knoll had some engine damage, or engine trouble, I should say. And that ended his night. And also the 54 Bill Yarbrough had some contact earlier in the race as well. Our fast lap of the race, the 6 car Mark DeSenza. So congrats to Mark on the fast lap. Good job, buddy. But that ends the race here. And man, what a crazy finish. Sam Young looking like he might just squeeze out enough fuel, but not to be. Lap short. Matt Watkins did have enough fuel. Went by him, took the win. Robert Bokum also had enough fuel, as did the 29 car of Jeff Hale. And there's our official standings. Winner Matt Watkins, Robert Bokum second, Jeff Hale third, all lead lap cars, that's it. Then Sam Troy and Troy Higgins fifth, Guy Petra sixth, last cars running. And then the rest retired. Nicole, Mark, Jim, T-Roy, and Bill Yarbrough, all down and out here in Chicago. And let's see. Yeah, let's, while we're waiting, let's take a look at the points. There we go. There's our points standings. As you can see, our points leader continues to be Troy Higgins with a 17-point lead over Guy Petra. Mark DeSenza third, so the top three unchanged. 20-point lead over Mark DeSenza does Troy Higgins have. Jeff Hale moves up 1. Sam Young moves up 3. So despite having the win slip away, Sammy still benefits in the point standings with a solid 3-position gain. Of course, a couple guys missing the race tonight, Ken Ron and Steve Weber, so that helps help the cause a little there for him. But Sam still with a good run, and you see Sam does have a win, 6 top 10s, 5 top 5s. So Sam having a good season. He was up to 5th. Nicole moves up 1 to 6th. Robert Bokum up 2 to 7th. So Robert solidifying his position in the chase. Steve Weber, of course, missing the race down to 8th place. So that will give some incentive to Steve, let's say, for the rest of this regular season. Bossman Jim Ray finally joins the top 10, taking advantage of some non-starts. Pops Margison also missing this race. So Jim taking advantage of that, despite leaving the race early tonight. He does benefit, and he's 9th in points. And you see the tied, actually, let's say tied for 9th with Ken Ron. Both have 359 points there, which is 23 now, cushion over Pops. So Pops has his work cut out for him. Of course, as we discussed earlier, Matt Watkins a little too far down the line, still over 100 and something points from 10th place. So Matt Watkins will not be part of Well, I guess never say never. Depends on what he does. But 5 races for Matt Watkins, 4 wins, all top 10s. So Matt Watkins, solid numbers to say the least. Robert Bokum also having a solid season. Has missed a couple races, but still solidly in the top 10. 4 poles, 3 wins, 9 top 10s in 9 races, 8 top 5s. So Robert Bokum leading statistically in the top 5 and top 10 category, tied in the top 10s with Guy Petra and Jeff Hale. Also tied with Jeff for the top 5 lead as well. But in wins, Matt Watkins 1 win better than Robert Bokum, who's also 1 win better than Troy Higgins, who's 1 win better than Jeff Hale and Sam Young. So a little spread in wins here. Matt still showing that he's when he shows up, he can win. And great job by him. But some shuffle in there. Jim Ray in, Steve Weber, Ken Ron dropping, but staying in, and Pop's dropping out. Well, let's see if we can drag Matty Watkins up. And we'll see if we can have a word with our winner, Matt Watkins. Okay, I think we all will have him now. And we are joined by our winner, Matt Watkins. A little fuel strategy there at the end, Matt. I thought Sam might just squeeze enough out of those last drops of fuel, but it wasn't to be for him, but it was to be for you. So I saw you clutching early, Matt, and how much fuel did you have left?
Probably like 2 pounds maybe. It's probably enough to get back to the backstretch. Yeah, I really hated coming down fuel mileage because it was cruise mode most of the race. That setup was fast. But I didn't know it was coming out of fuel. I was running so hard the whole race. I was like 6 laps short. I saw Robert dug through the pits real fast. And I was like, it must be fuel. So I just saved as much as I could. That was enough. But yeah, I didn't think Sam was going to make it because he had run hard for about 20 laps. And that's nearly impossible to make up. But if he would have got a caution, say about 3 laps to go, he'd have got it. So it was a good risk.
Yeah, I thought he started saving fuel, and I was like, I wonder if he's just a little too late, and it was about a lap short for him, and like you said, maybe you would have been about a half a lap short, so still a great job there. Yeah, it was the cautions were kind of spaced out just enough that you were getting ready for a green flag stop when the caution came out.
Yeah, I don't think I ever did get a green stop. Yeah, like Ray, right when I was about to pit every time, we'd get a caution. I did contemplate short pit once, so I'm glad I didn't do that. And that was kind of a weird track to say fuel on. That setup was very loose coming off the corners, so I'm sure you saw me almost crash a few times there.
Yeah, like on that last lap there, you got a little out of shape there.
Yeah, I was talking to the guy the whole time, and then I shot sideways, and I wasn't actually used to going full speed. I've been saving the last 20 or 30 laps, so yeah, it was
Yeah, well, that was a good race. You came out pretty strong this race and led a bunch of laps. Were you not on any kind of fuel early on? Were you just going for it early on, and then just because of the number of the way the cautions fell and stuff, you went to fuel?
Yeah, I ran just a tick under hard, you could say. Just about got the squeal of tires, but they were pretty hard for most of the race because this setup you could really drive it and not be too bad at the end of the run. So yeah, I drove pretty hard most of the race until the end, and I unfortunately had to go to the fuel saving thing to have a chance.
That was a great win, another nice win, and yeah, we were just looking at the standings there, Matt, and we know that you're not 100% committed to every single race because you know you made that decision. But man, if you could sneak into that top 10, you'd have a lot of bonus points.
It would be cool if they had the thing where if you win, you're in.
Yeah, then you could bank those wins. But yeah, I think you might come up even if you do show up for the races. I think you got too many points to overcome, but making it exciting, that's for sure. And maybe in the chase you can show up for a few times and rattle the chasers cage a little, and that will make it interesting.
Yeah, I plan to steal a few in the chase, so we'll see how that goes. And but it's fun not racing for points really, because I take a lot more chances now than I would have taken in points racing. Like Friday night, I wouldn't have ran that close and that hard, being afraid of the points. So it is fun. You can take a whole lot more chances than you would normally take.
That's yeah, that's very true, and you're showing it, man. You're 5 starts and 4 wins, so you got to feel pretty good about that too, because it's still not easy to win these races.
Yeah, that's true. These setups are really loose, so you can easily overdrive one corner and spin out. Did that in Atlanta. I almost did that here probably like 5 times this race. So. But that's probably of driving hard. You're always going to be on the edge, and you're going to slide around a few times. So.
Yeah, absolutely. But great win, and hopefully, if you have the time, we'll see you on Friday. Believe that's at The Rock. That's a challenging track for a Friday night field. So if you want to test your back to front skills, that would be a good test there, Matt.
Yeah, probably be there and give it a shot. I'm really not a fan of that track, but it'll be fun starting at the bat regardless. So look forward to it.
Yeah, we'll be looking for you as well. So thanks a lot. Thanks for joining us, Matt. I'll take you back down to the racing channel there so you can talk to the guys, and appreciate it again, and congrats on the win.
Cool. I appreciate it. Thanks.
So, race winner, Matt Watkins. Looking to maybe show back up here on our next broadcast Friday night from Rockingham, The Rock. Yes, it's alive and well in FSB racing. And Winston Cup, as you know, loved The Rock. As you heard him, not his favorite track, so that means he will only lead half the laps instead of all the laps when he likes the track. So yeah, don't believe that for a second. Let's see. We have a little time here. Let's see if we can get a word with. Let's see if we can get a word with Sammy here. And Sam, this is Greg in the booth. You copy?
Hey, Greg.
Sammy, talk to me.
Well, let me see. I got damaged about 20 times during the race. The pit crew worked very, very hard, got the car back right, and I had a shot at the lead there, and I said, I can go. And I went, and then all of a sudden I look in my mirror, and there was nobody behind me, and I'm going, why am I going so fast and everybody else is going so slow? And I figured out they're saving gas, and I'm not. And by the time I figured that out, it was a little too late. I started saving gas. I only could save up to two laps, but I couldn't get that third lap I needed. But it was fun. It was fun to be out there.
Yeah, we were riding with you, Sam, so when you watched the replay, we were rooting for you. And we could hear you, clutching, and then we heard the motor kind of go a little sour at the end there. But yeah, great attempt. Yeah, maybe if you would have looked in the rearview mirror maybe 3 laps earlier, you may have been able to squeeze that last lap out.
I seen Robert Bokum duck in right before then. I said, man, I wish I'd done the same thing because it was really close. And I didn't think you could save 3 or 4 laps here, but you really can. And Matt Watkins, king of saving gas, proved that you can definitely do that. So I learned a little something tonight. This is a really wicked set. I mean, it just wants to get loose towards the end. So I was doing my best to, in the second and third run there, to push the car as best as I could, trying to push the right front tire and heat it up as much as I could. It seemed to help. It stabilized the car better at the end of the run. So I just got to get used to these pro sets. They're really, really loose.
Yeah, that's what Matt told us as well. That about 3 or 4 or 5 occasions he felt the back end coming out from under him, and he had to catch the car. And of course, he does that just as good as anyone else does as well. And yeah, he said 2 pounds of gas left as he crossed the start-finish line. So half a lap basically he had left in there, Sammy.
Yeah, he's the king. I knew that once that I realized he was saving gas, I was like, I'm in trouble. Nothing I can do here. And I was actually really just kind of hoping for a late race caution that would, when 3 to go, 4 to go, and I could win the race by caution and clutcher on the track. It didn't look like it was going to pan out. Thanks for what you do, Greg. It was a lot of fun tonight.
All right, Sammy. Well, great run and great entertainment there at the end. You'll get it. It was so close, I know. So,
well,
maybe gives you a little more fire in the belly to get the next one.
You beat Matt Watkins. You beat the best. He's hard to beat. But I had a great time in Nationwide tonight, and the question-free race. I think we had a question early, but we did really good, and I managed to win it. So I actually beat Robert Bokum. So I did my thing tonight. I'll take that. So.
Well, so 1 for 2 night for you.
Absolutely good.
If you batted 500, you'd be in the Hall of Fame, Sammy.
I'm good enough.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Sam. Hopefully we'll see you Friday night at the Rock if you can make it. Otherwise, congrats on the solid finish there, even though the standings may not show you had a good run.
Well, the standings, actually, I moved up 3 spots, so I'm in great shape. So I'm really good with that, and I'm happy with that. And also, I can't wait till Friday because Rockingham is my favorite racetrack of all time. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and keep an eye on me there.
We will, man. We will. So thanks for joining us. I'll take you back down to the boys downstairs.
Thanks, sir.
All right, so Sam Young, you heard him. He said he looked up, didn't see anyone behind him anymore. Realized everyone else was in fuel saving mode and he wasn't. And then when he obviously flipped the switch to fuel savings, just not enough to get it fully done. So tough break for Sam, but as he said, moved up 3 in the points. So overall, a positive night. Plus, Sam, as you heard. We have a race right before the Pro Cup race on Wednesday evenings, Nationwide Series, and you heard Sammy was at Atlanta, and Sam taking the checkered flags there. So good night for Sam. He had first place and almost the first place. But quality points finish, moved up 3 positions. Good night overall for Sam. Good night for Matt Watkins. Good night for boss man Jim Ray as well. Let's see. Last person, I promise. Let's see if we can get a word with the boss man here. And we'll see if we can get a quick word with CEO of FSBRacing.com, Jim Ray. A rare contact on the track by the boss man. You have to take a video of it because if you told someone you saw it, they wouldn't believe you. You have to back it up with video, Jim.
Missed the first part of that, but yeah, it came around on me there. Just didn't have the focus tonight, so I wanted to park it before I wiped anybody else out. Glad everybody's able to get by. But yeah, I think I even started off the season with an incident or something, trying to go a whole season without even a single one. It's very difficult.
Yeah, that's what
You definitely got to do your homework with these setups and be ready to go.
Yeah, both Sam and our winner Matt Watkins said several times they found themselves chasing the car. So a very loose setup. Of course, Sam bounced off the wall several times, and he said he kept his pit crew race ready all night long. So yeah, it was a handful. But this is not the news, Jim. What's news is that despite the struggles tonight, you took advantage of others not being here and squeezed into the top 10 in points.
Yeah, I think 3 guys in the top 10 couldn't make it tonight. Kind of evens us out. I know I had to miss one like a month ago, and a couple one laps in parks because of things going on here at the house. But yeah, very happy to be in contention again. So now we got to race 3 more races to stay in. Pops, myself, and Ken and Webb all battling for the last spot in the chase. And then we got a good 6 races to battle out for those 4 trophies brought to you by Johnson Truck Lines. Look forward to that.
Absolutely. So yeah, I just wanted to. I know what you probably might not have heard as you jumped in was I said if I told someone that you had an incident on the track, they wouldn't believe me. So I'd have to back it up with video because it happens so rarely.
Well, that's what happens by not racing very much. So the more you race, the more often it's going to happen. But that's why you only see me out there a couple times a season. When I can only have 1 or 2, it's not that big a deal. But if you're racing all season, a bunch of series, and you only have 1 or 2, which a lot of guys can do.
Oh yeah,
that's phenomenal. But it's so hard to. You almost have to not race to not get one. You know what I mean? You just kind of cruise around. But once you start racing, that's when you start getting into people and stuff.
Absolutely. So. And then the other big news, Jim, is coming up on this weekend, the 21st of September. We're going to be at the new to us Circuit of the Americas.
Yeah, looking forward to that. It's really hard to schedule these things for everybody. I know we got a few no-shows because it is the middle of Sunday, but maybe it'll work out for some of us. Quick 17 laps around about 35 minutes at most. Come on out, runs caution-free, 1 stop. Whether you know the track or not, there's lots of grip, plenty of room to let people go with the runoffs and stuff. I mean, it's really should make for some pretty fun racing. And so, some guys putting down some serious lap times.
Yeah.
Johnson and Doug Tivek. We woke up a sleeping giant in the 69 car, and he'll be a force to be reckoned with, assuming he can make it. But I know Big Dog Palmer's got a previous engagement. I know Yarbrough and Margison may not be there, but anyway, those who are gonna have a good time.
Absolutely, looking forward to it, and. Like I said, I was looking in the forum at the list of the tracks that we could run, and if it was up to me, that would be a series right there. That tracks and just run them. But I hear you on the people still gun shy a little of the road races, but I like them, so I'll give them props.
Awesome, and that was a series for many years. Just that schedule right there. We would run once a week. We run our 20 races, trying to learn another road course every week for 20 seasons. You know, it was pretty difficult. Ends up about 5 or 6 of us racing, so it was down to like 3 at one point. So then we tried the Grand National Physics to make it a little easier for folks with just 10 tracks, and that did well for a little while. So we'll give it another shot. I think Trans Am and GTP are the most entertaining, but GTP is difficult, so we're going to give it a shot with short races, and those who show up, we'll have a little vote there in the drivers' meeting and figure out what track we're going to focus on next. Could be the California Speedway, caution-free, run that for a couple weeks, or one of the other ones we need to test for next season.
Yeah,
so if you show up, you get to say so, and where we go.
Well, let's hope that we get a decent-sized field. I think we'll get okay. But yeah, COTA is a little intimidating. I have to say, when I first drove it, I was thinking that might take several months for me to complete a lap, but watching others and putting a little time in, it got a little easier. So it's all about the time, and some people have it, some people don't. So that's just the way it is with sim racing.
You bet. Well, we'll see you out there. Should be a lot of fun.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, Jim. And again, just wanted to give you a little props there on a tough night, but a positive finish maybe with jumping up in the points there.
Yeah, and I always thought I could race here before the kids go to bed, but as we took the green, I hear banging on the door, want my daddy, want my daddy, want my daddy. And the wife's putting the other one down. It's like she went away for a little while, but as we were under caution that last time, she fired it up again. I'm like, I just can't do this to her. So, but there'll always be other races, and pretty soon she's going to be grown up, and she's not going to be looking for me. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure. Then you'll be wondering why she's not banging on the door, saying that.
That's why we just got to keep this thing running. That's all I'm looking for. Just keep it running until there's a time to race.
Yeah,
So,
I hear
thanks,
you, Jim.
Greg.
Okay, thanks.
Go get him
thanks
Friday
for
night,
joining
dude.
us.
That's going to be wild. Definitely look forward
Absolutely.
to watching that. That Rockingham's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of cars.
Absolutely.
See you, bud. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Jim. And there we go, Jim Ray. Quickly joining us. Busy man, got a lot to do, so we appreciate his time. And now we'll wrap it up for our broadcast. So thanks for joining us. And again, FSBRacing.com. Check out the website, sign up, get a wheel, start racing. We had an applicant just come in, the son of a guy that raced here for a long time, and he came in first race, won in the FSB, or formerly rookie division. So you can do it. So FSBRacing.com, check it out. We'll see you on Friday night, Winston Cup, 9:30 Eastern time. It's Friday night. See you then.